So once a week I'll be uploading videos for y'all that I teach, one for reading, writing, and social studies. So for today, we're going to do problem and solution, which we've covered before. We're just going to go over it again and read a new book and learn some vocabulary, and I'm going to give y'all an assignment to do. I hope y'all have been doing good. Hope y'all aren't too bored at home. I know I am. I learned how to braid my own hair. Not very good, obviously, but I've been doing it. But okay, let's get started. Problem and solution. The author presents something that is wrong, the problem, and how it has been fixed, the solution. Okay, so right here I have a sad guy with a spilled ice cream cone, and obviously that's wrong because nobody wants their ice cream cone to be spilled. And then the solution is he got a new cone. Maybe his parent bought him a new cone, his friend bought him a new cone, he has a new cone, okay? So he solved his problem by getting a new ice cream cone after he had dropped his old one, okay? So if I ask you to find the problem and solution to a story, you need to ask yourself, what is the problem? Because you might not know right off the bat, okay? So you can ask yourself, what was wrong? So what was the character feeling bad about? What did he feel like was wrong, okay? Or she. And a solution, so how is it resolved? You can ask yourself, how has it been solved? Or how did it get better? Okay, so at the end of our story, we're always gonna have a resolution to our problem, okay? This problem always gets solved. So ask yourself, what happened to make the problem, what went wrong, get better, okay? So we have some vocabulary here. We have proper, which means to be well-mannered, basically. So I put some silverware, poorly drawn, I put some silverware around a plate to show that we have manners. Proper, you know, you can have really good posture, sit upright, you can talk very nicely, dress nicely, just being well-mannered, okay? If anybody has seen the SpongeBob episode where Patrick always tells SpongeBob to keep his pinky up whenever he's drinking his teacup, he says the higher the fancier, that's being proper, okay? Then we have blue, which we all think, okay, yeah, I know what the color blue is, but blue can also mean sad. Okay, so that can mean if you're feeling blue, you're feeling sad. So maybe if you're missing school, you might say, oh, I'm feeling blue, okay? Next word I have is realize, okay? Realize. So I have a little thinking bubble with an idea light bulb, okay? So you think you have an idea or you realize something, okay? So we can think maybe our guy over here has a problem with his ice cream cone, and then he realizes that he can go and buy a new cone, okay? Alrighty, so the book that we're reading today is called Spoon. This is Spoon. This is Spoon's family. Okay, so we have lots of different kinds of spoons. On Sundays, Spoon goes to visit his Aunt Silver. He has to be on his very best behavior there. She's very fancy and proper. Goodbye, darling. Ta-da! So she's very proper. You can see she has on some makeup, some earrings. You know, she looks kind of fancy for a spoon, so she's proper. A bedtime spoon likes to hear the story about his adventurous great-grandmother who fell in love with a dish and ran off to a distant island. Lately, though, Spoon had been feeling blue, so he'd been feeling sad. "What's wrong?" asked his mother. "You look a bit out of shape." "Nothing," mumbled Spoon. "It's just that, I don't know, all of my friends have it so much better than me. Like Knife. Knife is so lucky. He gets to cut, he gets to spread. I never get to cut or spread. Yes, Knife is pretty spiffy that way, isn't he? So Spoon is feeling like he can't do the same things that Knife can, okay? His mom is agreeing, like, yeah, we can't cut, you're right. And Fork is so lucky. She gets to go practically everywhere. I bet she never goes stir crazy like I do. Fork does get to go out and make herself useful, doesn't she? We have another vocabulary word here. Useful can mean that she can be used for lots of different things. So we think a fork we could use for spaghetti. This was a steak, cake, salad. I know I use a fork for almost everything. I like to use forks more than spoons. And chopsticks. They are so lucky. Everyone thinks they're really cool and exotic. No one thinks I'm cool or exotic. Those chopsticks are something else, aren't they? Meanwhile, if only Spoon knew what his friends were saying Meanwhile, if only Spoon knew what his friends were saying at that very minute. Spoon is so lucky, said Knife. He's so fun and easygoing. So, where Spoon was jealous of Knife for being able to cut and spread, the Knife is jealous of Spoon because he said he's so easygoing and he's so fun, okay? Everyone's so serious with me. No one's ever allowed to be serious with me, like they are with Spoon. Because, right, if we're having knives, we have to be very careful. Spoon is so lucky, said Fork. He gets to measure stuff. No one ever does that with me. So now Fork is saying how he's jealous of Spoon because Fork cannot measure sugar or flour because it just falls right through its little tines. Spoon is so lucky, said Chopsticks. He can go places by himself. We could never function apart. Okay, if you could imagine trying to put a chopstick on a table, it'd just fall over. So they have to hold hands to walk together. That night after bedtime stories, Spoon's mom turned off the light, tucked him in, and said, "You know, Spoon, I wonder if you realize just how lucky you are." So think. Do you think he feels lucky? I don't think he realizes it yet because he was saying, I wish I was Knife, I wish I was Fork, I'm tired of being Spoon. So his mom is saying, I don't think you realize how lucky you actually are. Your friends will never know the joy of diving headfirst to a bowl of ice cream. Because do we ever eat ice cream with a fork or a knife? No. Only Spoon can do that. They'll never know what it feels like to clink against the side of a cereal bowl. They'll never be able to twirl around in a mug or relax in a hot cup of tea. Spoon hadn't thought of it that way before. He lay awake in bed for a long time. His mind was racing. He felt so alive. There was only one thing to do. I can't sleep. Come snuggle. Come Spoon. And so he did. The end. Alrighty, so I want you to think about what the problem of that story was. What was the problem that Spoon was having? What was wrong to him? Why was he feeling blue? Okay? And then I want you to think, how did he solve his problem? How did it get better? How did he feel better at the end of the day? Okay? So, I made this chart. You can see it. So I want you to make this at home. You can make it on any piece of paper. I just made it on some yellow lined paper, okay? So you just make a box, and then you write the problem. So what was wrong, and I want you to write it here, okay? And the solution, how did it get better? I want you to write, how did his problem get better, okay? So write in complete sentences, please. Make sure there's a capital letter at the beginning of your sentence, and make sure you have punctuation at the end of your sentence, okay? There should be at least one sentence in this box and at least one sentence in this box, okay? And then just take a picture of your work and turn it in, okay? All right, good job, guys. Bye.